everyone, it's Mermaid Kelly here, and welcome back to another Mermaid Monday where we talk about everything mermaid. Today I am going to show you an in-depth review of my Mertailor tails. Last week I discussed my Mertailor experience and everything to do with customer service, when I got my tails, how long it took, and all of that kind of stuff. So if you want to go ahead and check that one out first, I'll put a link in the description below. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about the fabric tails that he has. I did have one, however, I did give it to my cousin who really wanted to be a mermaid, who couldn't afford one. So I do not have it with me, but I'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit. So I got that one, I mentioned it last week after I went to pick up my tail, but it wasn't how we wanted it. So I went home with a fabric tail so that way I could still visit the springs and swim. So with the fabric tail, it has a thinnest monofin in it. I'm not sure exactly which one it is off of the top of my head. It's the one, it has like the weird lump in it. I personally don't really like the shape of the tail of the fabric ones. They're really weird. I like this type of shape, not this type of shape. I don't know, it has a weird lump in the middle. So I didn't really like the look of them, but if it's just for fun or just a hobby, then it's fine. It's no big deal. It's just more of like I personally don't find that appealing to for me. So I got it, I took it to the springs. It swims really well. My only real problem with it was that the fin strap in the back kept slipping under my feet, and I had to keep on fixing it. So I'm not sure if I didn't have it tight enough or what, but it kept slipping under my feet. So I suggest probably like wearing some kind of sock or something to help it and help take up space, or make sure it's tight and good on your feet. And so after I gave it to my cousin, and their pool is very rough, it has a very rough bottom, so it was snagging the fabric, and the fabric, although it is really good quality fabric, it feels super comfortable and it's very durable. It was starting to rip and tear because of how rough their pool was. It's a very old pool, so if you have a newer pool or with a smooth surface, that would be best for it. But definitely be careful standing or scooting in tails. Make sure you do not scoot in your tail because that'll rip and tear and wear down any tail you have. So try not to scoot, but also try not to stand as much either. Whenever you're swimming, it shouldn't really tear too much, but I know some places sell like little fin protector tips, so that way the tip of it won't really get like wear and tear on it as fast. So that's something just to kind of keep in mind. I would show you, but again, I don't have the tail. So let's move on to my basic tail. Okay, so here's my basic tail. I'll kind of do like a little fan view here. So this is the fluke and all the way up to the waist of the tail. So I've had this tail for about 2 years. The outside is silicone and on the inside is neoprene, so there are really bad seams, but there's not much you can do about that because it is sewn together. So right here, you can see the inside. It is neoprene. He did write somewhere in here. So here is the tail, here is a little look at the inside. I'm going to roll it down so you can see inside better. Okay, so it's folded down, and as you can see right here is where it is sewn together. You can see the lines right here. And here is the outer part of the silicone. So it is sewn together and there are really bad seams, as you can see right here. That's one thing that I don't really like about the tail as much, is that it has seams, but for the cost, it's really, it's not too much that you can't handle, and most of the times kids really don't care too much. They pointed out a little bit, but it's nothing too bad. One thing else that I don't like is that at the bottom, sometimes it's hard to pull up and it'll kind of roll a little bit, but if you get it up all the way, then you shouldn't have that problem. I've seen a lot of other people have that too. It's just that it's not really pulled up all the way. And sometimes the fluke is just a lot bigger than your feet. I know with my green tail, it does it a lot too. Okay. So here's the fluke. It kind of looks like they just used their hands and to mold the fluke and just kind of went like that. I'm not sure how it works, but it kind of gives it like a little bit more personality too. As you can see, there's some places that like there's a drip there, and it's starting to wear down like right here. And there's a few splotches here, but it's no problem. Nobody really notices it. It just kind of gives it a little bit more personality, and it works. And I think that Mertailor has actually been getting a lot better at sculpting and molding and just making tails in general. He's really improved over the few years that I've seen him, so I can only imagine how much he's improved over 10 years. So this tail, I'm going to flip it over and show you the back a little bit, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about like swimming. Okay, so here's the back of it. Right now, I've had it a long time, and I use it a lot. Like, I use it more than anything else I really have, honestly. I use it like a lot of times, almost every weekend during the summer, and then multiple times to the springs. Ever since I got the green one, I don't really swim in it as much because I personally like the way that the silicone feels a little bit better when swimming than the neoprene does. The neoprene is okay, it's no big deal, but personally, I really love swimming in the silicone. It kind of feels like a second skin almost if you don't have a silicone. But if you're swimming and stuff, I highly recommend the silicone just because it's great. But this one's a great alternative because it is so cost efficient, and I think that for as a business that these tails are really great to use because if it does get messed up like this one is starting to, it's not too big of a deal to just fix it. Or it won't cost as much to just get a new one or replace these as much every like few years versus the silicone ones. You don't really want a chance getting those super messed up from wear and tear and from kids like pulling on it and tugging on it and all this and that. So these are great for business purposes. So on the back, as you can see, hold on, there's some hair. The monofin is starting to come up. It's starting to rip through the neoprene, and it's popping out of the silicone. I did talk to Mertailor a little bit about it, and he said that it is fixable. It would be like a small fee just because they have to put more silicone and stuff over on top of it and then repaint, and then depending on the paint goes and how, like if they have to repaint the whole tail or if they just have to repaint the fluke, depends on the price. So it's really an easy fix. It's no big deal at all. But it is starting to rip through. I do use it a lot. So if you use it a lot, then you may have this happen. But it's lasted me 2 years. So this only really started happening last summer, and I did accidentally have to drag it on the ground to get away from a birthday party because we didn't have anybody who could carry me, and I didn't have like my cart with me or anything, and there was some kids still watching me who weren't a part of the birthday party, and I did not want to take off the tail and ruin the magic for those kids at least, because the other kids would come out and then they tell them that I'm not real and ruin the party. So I want to avoid ruining the magic at all costs, so I did drag it on the ground, which is a huge no-no. Do not drag your tail on the ground, please, because this will happen. It started ripping. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so it started ripping here. whenever I drug it across the ground, and ever since then it's just been getting so much worse. So the paint has chipped off of this area and it's starting to tear through. I'm personally thinking about just getting a new basic and then having this as like a backup one, or for like land events and stuff like that. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna just fix it or if I'm just gonna get a new one. Like I said, fixing it wouldn't be all that expensive. Alright, so then we have the other side. Hold on, let me fix. Okay, so we have the other side right here that's starting to. This is what it looked like on the other side when it was first starting. It was just like a little lump. And I'm not sure like why it does that, if it's like the pressure, if it's just me swimming, or if it's just me dragging it on the ground or anything like that. I'm not entirely sure, but this can happen to anybody, I think. But I can't pinpoint the exact situation, the exact party, or the exact time that it started or just got worse or anything, but it was definitely this past summer. And like I said, I've had it for 2 years, so. Okay, right here is where my ankles go. I mentioned last week that I stood up in my tail to pull it up for a year, and that causes these parts, the paint has come off a lot. It's still pigmented, but the paint has like chipped away, and it's kind of like really rough and dull here. You can tell there's like a difference. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but there is definitely a difference here where it's like lighter in this area versus the rest of the tail. And you may have to see it in person to really see it. It's not that noticeable at all, but that is from me standing in my tail. And then there's a little bit like up here too, like you can see where the paint has chipped off, like up here and right here and stuff. And that's just from me standing in it and pulling it up and all this and that. So please, please, please do not stand in your tail, because that can ruin them. Please don't stand in your tails ever. So that is this tail on the outside. Okay, let me see if I can roll this down a little bit more. Okay. I feel like this is as rolled down as it's gonna get. Okay, so I don't know how this is gonna go. There's sand all over from last time I was. Okay, so I don't know if you can see really inside. It's covered in sand because I took it to the beach not long ago, and I am terrible at drying it out. So as you can see, there's like a strap right there. This strap, the lighting is so bad. Okay, so this strap is a part of the Monofin. The strap on this side of the tail, has come loose, and I haven't figured out how to put it back on. It's been like that for like a year and a half now. But it's still swimmable. It's no big deal at all. No problem whatsoever. Okay, so like I said, it was on the other side. This strap is loose. Here, let's see if I can take this off of the thing and do this. Okay, so you can kind of see the Monofin a little bit right here. To the right, I think, or the left, I'm not sure. You can see the Monofin a little bit. So that's where the foot pocket is. You can unhook it in the middle, so I'm sure the other side can hook. But yeah, this side is unhooked and then this side is hooked. So swimming with that tail is really great. It does swim well. There's a lot of propulsion through the water. It doesn't slow you down. There's no drag. There's none of that. The Monofin like just kind of float, or not the fluke kind of just flows and flops through the water, and it looks great. The only real like big problem I'm having with it is the Monofin does like cut your feet. I think it's because of the weight of the silicone and the way that I stored it for so long, because I stored it just flat and I just folded it up for the longest time. I feel like that weighed down on the Monofin, and so the Monofin like foot pockets where it's normally like this are like crushed in. So to get your feet in there is a little bit of a struggle, and then wearing it for long hours will either give you like a huge blister, it'll rub your skin raw, or it'll straight cut open your foot. So what I've done is I just wear like a sock, like I wear socks, like the really big fuzzy socks, or you can get like neoprene booties to wear with it too to help protect your feet. That really just started this last year, but now I have the hangers to hang them up, so it's no big deal, it's no problem, it's really okay. I'm managing with it, but the Monofin does hurt your feet after a while. And I've heard that from like a few other people, not just with Mertailor, but with Monofins in general. Sometimes they hurt your feet, sometimes you get foot cramps, sometimes they just aren't the best. They are uncomfortable, they give you blisters, things like that. So I don't really blame that on Mertailor, because whenever I first got it, it didn't have any of the problems that I showed you. That is just after 2 years of constant use. And now that's what it looks like. Altogether, I would rate this tail like a 7 on a scale of 10. Just because it does have room for improvement. As far as mine, I'm not sure how the new ones are. So if I do get a new one, I will test it out and give you an updated review on the basic, and see what all has improved and what all hasn't. Like I said, most of my problems are just because of wear and tear, and I've used it so much. So, brand new, it really didn't have too many problems. There were a few, like, little things, like not pulling it up all the way, and just stuff like that. But altogether, it's pretty great, and I do recommend this one a lot of times. So whenever people ask me about the basic, I do recommend the basic Mertailor tail. It's a really great tail. Honestly, I think it's really great for business uses too, if you're doing lots of parties and stuff, because it's durable, because it lasted 2 years. So that's better than a lot of the fabric ones will last with constant use. But this one lasts. It has kids tugging on it, kids jumping on it, stepping on it, grown adults stepping on it, and just, it's been through a lot of stuff. So altogether, it's held up really great, and the damages that are on it right now, which I showed you, are not that big of a deal. Probably would cost anywhere from like $150 to $250 just to fix it, so it's not like it's super expensive and unwearable. It's completely wearable, it's still working great, and I'm probably going to use it until I can't use it anymore. I just do that kind of with everything. So, now we'll go ahead and show you the green tail, and let's review that one. Okay, so here is the, okay, here is my full silicone Mertailor tail. It is, this is the pirate fluke. I know there was like a leaf fluke or something like that. This one, I am pretty sure, is the pirate fluke. It's really pretty. I love how it swims. Like I said earlier, I prefer this one over the basic for swimming, just for swimming, because it feels so much better, and it just kind of feels like an extension of yourself. This one does have a little bit more of a drag because of the weight of the silicone over here, because of the large fluke, but the drag isn't too bad at all. It's really not anything to be like scared of or to be weary about. Most tails have a little, like most silicone tails have a little bit of a drag, but I still swim a lot faster and a lot better with this tail on than I do without a tail. So now I'm going to show you the outside of it a little bit closer. Okay, so I'll start with the Fluke. I've only had this tail almost a year, and so far everything has been really super great. You can see the seam right here. It doesn't like come apart or anything, except for over here. Right here it kind of split right here, but it's not noticeable. It's not too big of a deal. It's an easy fix. I've heard other people with their silicone tail, no matter who made it, sometimes on their fin or wherever else, they'll have something kind of like that where it just will come like unglued. So last week I mentioned that Mertailor didn't put in drain holes in my last tail, but this one he did. So as you can see right here and right here are some drain holes. There's 2 on each side. He did that because mine was filled up with water and it bubbled, and so he started adding drain holes to all of his tails. So that's super awesome. So moving up here, you can kind of see where the monofin is, like right here. It's like rounded, and then it goes like right there, and then it comes back up over here. And you can kind of see a little bit. So now that I pointed it out, you should be able to see it's like right here. And that's one thing I kind of don't like about it, is that you can see the monofin. However, in his new tails that he just released, that he also let us borrow at Mermania, they don't have a monofin inside. So he's starting to make them with no monofin. So if you're worried about the monofin showing through, you don't have to. And if you're worried about swimming with a no monofin, at Mermania, I tested it out, and it really doesn't feel any different than with the monofin. It still swims great. The propulsion is about the same. There's not much of a drag either. Like, it just feels super great all together. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Say something about the drag.
Yeah, I'm not used to the back fin drag, but it's like the same amount as like the extra in my Fluke.
I think it's because it's not made to fit you. If it was smaller,
yeah,
there would not be as much drag.
Probably not.
I can promise you that much.
It's so pretty.
Like, I know there is always going to be like a little bit of a drag just because of the extra fin, but it's like, it doesn't affect anything. It's still pretty good.
I love when you do the tail flips. Do another tail flip.
Yeah, go swim.
Okay. I really do enjoy this Fluke though. Like, it's so pretty.
It is
Better, there's more control. Do you feel yourself having to work this hard?
Huh?
Do you feel yourself having to work this hard?
Well, a little bit in this one just because I'm not used to it and it's not made for me, but I'm sure if it was like made to like my body measurements, it would be like the green one almost. Or like maybe a little different just because there's no monofin, but like you really can't tell a difference at all.
There's a lot less.
It's long on her too, so
Yeah,
she's
it
not
is.
in it all the way.
What do you feel about the actual comfort of the pockets?
It feels, honestly, it just feels like the monofin and the green one. Yeah, like the foot pockets themselves feel pretty similar, but
You don't feel like they're cushiony?
well, the one in the green one's really spacious, but that one feels like it's gonna give me blisters, so I wear a sock with it. But this one feels like it won't give me any kind of blister at all because it's so.
That's what he wants, feedback on what he
Yeah.
Is that better than what he was using?
Huh?
Is that better than what he was using? You liked it better?
I can't
I
hear.
said, do you like that one better than what's in those? Or is it because your feet are not actually in them good?
Huh?
Your feet aren't actually in it?
No, my feet are in it.
Okay.
My
I mean,
feet
we want your
my
opinion,
feet
yeah.
are in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the foot pockets all the way around. They're in. the red one, that one's just kind of old. Now it's like 2 years old. So like the Monofin, that one's bad, but not like bad, but it's like folding over like because of the weight of the silicone, I guess. And it like kind of cuts me a little bit, but the green one is very spacious and it feels similar. But I feel like I'm not going to get blisters with these. So I think this is like a really good like alternative.
What would you prefer? Go swim some more.
I probably prefer this one.
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
That's what he's
I do
waiting
like the
for.
scale option a lot better too.
Gotta dig all this out of you.
You just gotta glide.
Go.
Glide.
Go
Just
swim
glide
and you'll see.
relax.
Okay.
That's what it's all about.
She's
Ready for the fin flip? Are you guys ready?
It's not that. It's just.
Not with a fluke that wide. She needed an arrow flip power stroke.
She likes the big
I
flicks,
didn't
so
design this for speed. I just designed it to make sure that you can swim.
Yeah.
And she's actually going really fast.
Yeah, she's a good swimmer. And that's what she said, the green one. She likes her to swim fast too. Having the bigger
A
flick.
narrow fluke with a wide beat for power stroking. You do research on like the fish
If you want to
nature.
swim fast.
Yeah, but like if you look at dolphins, whales, their flukes are very wide. They only swim fast because of the size, but they move very slowly comparatively. So they're not meant for speed. It's meant for long distance. That's why my flukes are wide because I like to glide, slow. You get to stand longer when you glide. That's a really nice tail. Monofin's to use.
I feel like this Monofin swims better too.
Trust me, it would never pass my lips.
How's it going?
Okay, so up here, this is where it's connected to the fluke and the tail skin. It kind of makes like a circle around here. It's not like in his old tails. I think he used to make like a V. But now it's kind of more of like a circled style. I don't know. It's kind of uneven here, but I'm not sure if it's like that on every tail or just mine, and it's not noticeable or anything. I'm just kind of pointing out little things. Okay, so right here is the Monofin. As you can see, it's like really large. I'll put my feet like right next to it. Okay, so see how tiny my foot is? And this is the foot pocket. And this is the other foot pocket. So the Monofin is really large. It fits my feet really well. I like it better than the other Monofin inside the basic. One thing that I do not like about this tail that I wish was different, but according to other tail makers and Mertailor himself, it's just gonna happen because the size of my fluke compared to my ankle size, whenever I swim, it kind of gives me like this little, like, I don't know, like indent. Like, here's a picture. But like, as you can see, it just gives me like a little weird roll, and I don't really like that. And I hope that in my next sale we can figure out how to get it away. But I think it's just like the size of the fluke and the size of my ankles. It's just gonna happen. It's hard to avoid that. So moving on up here, I haven't had any paint like chip off of the scales or off of the fluke yet. So another little minor detail that I don't really like too much about them, and that I think Mertailor should definitely work to improve on. He's been working really hard to improve a lot of his tails, but one thing is the seams. So right here you can kind of see the seam. It's like right here. And they kind of just like blur together, and it's pretty noticeable. It you can tell, you wouldn't notice it right away, but after looking at it for a few minutes you would realize like there's a seam there. And so I think it would be cool if there wasn't a seam, but like even like right over there, like it's a noticeable seam. And I feel like he can definitely work to improve that. I feel like that's not like a bad thing. It's just a little thing that would just like improve the tails and just be a lot better overall if it just was seamless. Like I've seen other tails that are seamless, and honestly I have no idea how they would even make a seamless tail. So I can't really roll this one down too well because it's very difficult, but I'll try to show you a little bit of the inside of this tail. Right here, like on the other side, it did have seams where it was inside the tail. Well, right here, he kind of glue them down a little bit so that way they wouldn't like get on the legs or anything. And it's super smooth and it's like a flat surface inside. This tail is rather thick. It's like a really, it's heavy and it's thick. I'm not sure if all of his tails are, if it's just mine, but you can see like that's the thickness of the tail. I've seen other tails that are less thick than that. I'm not sure if there's a reason or not, but yeah, mine's just really thick. Okay, so let's see if I can put the phone in the tail. Okay. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but okay, so you can see it a little bit on the inside. So now I'm gonna flip this tail over and kind of show you the back a little bit so that way you can get a better idea of what it looks like. Okay, so this is the back. So you can see it's like really flat, like right here, which actually helps me find out which one is the front and which side is the back. So that's really helpful. There's nothing really bad about the back. You know, it's just not too big of a deal. There's some places where it's got like scratched, like right here, where I guess I stood on either like got hit by some rocks or something. I'm not really sure how I got these, but just be careful like whenever you're swimming. Those aren't too bad, not too noticeable, but just be careful where you are, basically. Some of the stuff on here are hair, some of it is like scratches, but it's not too bad at all. Okay, so with the green tail, swimming is really fun. It's really great. Like I said, it feels like a second skin. It's just really super awesome to just kind of swim with the silicone tail. I'll talk about that because I forgot to earlier. Getting them on, this tail is so much easier to put on. You don't really need anything extra. You can even wear leggings with it if you wanted to. It's really not that difficult to get on once you learn how to put it on. The hardest part is always the foot pockets. That's like every tail for me though, is getting the foot pockets in. But this one kind of just slides right up with me. It takes me less than like 5 minutes to put this one on. Maybe next week I will upload a photo, or not photo, but maybe next week I will upload a video, a tutorial of how to put both of my tails on, and hopefully that'll help you out. I may show you some like tricks and tips to help put these on too. So that's an idea. So if you think that's a good idea, go ahead, comment below, let me know that you want that. I know I've gotten asked once or twice about a tutorial on how to put them on, but they may be next week, maybe not. Maybe next week I'll talk about Mermaid Tail Party, maybe both, depending on how long each ones are. So with the green one, with this one is harder to put on. It takes me a little bit longer. It takes me like 10-15 minutes to put this one on. So this one's a little bit more difficult. This one needs coconut oil. This one's still slippery from last time I had coconut oil in here. Personally, I like coconut oil because it's great for your skin. It makes it super slippery to pull it right up. It does make it harder to grip, so I actually use like gloves to help grip and pull it up. And getting their foot pockets in, it's a little bit easier in this one than this one, because this one is like really weird. Like I talked about it earlier, it's a little bit weird to put on because of the foot pockets. But this one's foot pockets, my feet just slip right in there. I just pull the backs up, no problem. Some people put on like shoelaces, pull them up. Really helps. I haven't, but I heard it helps. So this one pulls up a lot better and faster, but the foot pockets on this one is difficult. But yeah, coconut oil slips right up. You can also use like lubricant, you can use conditioner, and like certain lotions. Definitely ask like your tail makers and other people with silicone tails what they use, so that way you know what would work best. Definitely try out each one. I've tried everything but lube, but so far coconut oil is like the best for me. So with the green tail, I would definitely rate it a 7 out of 10, just like this one. I really do love both of these. I love them a lot. So either way, I think that they're great tails. I've definitely seen worse. I've seen a lot worse in tails. These are actually pretty good quality, and they're pretty good for their prices too. Yeah, I like how this one is affordable, yet still looks realistic with the silicone. But I love how the silicone swims, so I can't wait to get another one, honestly. The next one I get will probably be like my dream tail kind of a thing. I'm probably gonna go back with Mertailor, just because, like, I don't know, I want to eventually have a tail by every tail maker, or every like big tail maker at least. Like I want a Merbella's, I want a Finfolk, I want a Mernation. I want some that are made by like a friend, so like Mermaid Haley, she makes some. So I really want a tail made by like each tail maker, just so I can compare and review each one and see how they swim differently. And I just want a collection of tails. I know we all do. I'm starting my collection, but I probably will go with Mertailor next time, because it is my dream tail and he has been improving a lot, and I like the no Monofin tails, and his paint job is great. I will definitely deal with the visible seams for a new tail. So yeah, that's just like my main concern with the gray one is the seams, and the main one right here is just the Monofin on the inside. But they're not bad. They're not bad quality. They're really great. They're really helpful, really handy, really fun. So if you're thinking about getting a tail from Mertailor and not sure, I hope this helped. You see them a lot better, and so you could see like the seams of each one, and maybe make up your mind whether you wanted one from him or not, because I think they're great. Mertailor has a lot of stuff coming out. He's worked on a lot of new stuff too, and he has some really unique things that are just not really on the market right now. So good job for Mertailor, and this has been my Mertailor tail review. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and comment down below if you have any suggestions or questions about these tails that I can maybe cover next week. And I'll probably do the putting on and taking off the tail tutorial. So if you think that's a good idea, go ahead, comment down below, let me know. And if you have any Mertailor tail, feel free to comment and let me know how yours is, if yours is having similar problems now after a few years, or if yours had any different problems, or what you really like about them. Go ahead and leave them below. I really want this channel to be like, have a little community of merfolk. I know there's a rather large and growing community, so that's super awesome. But I try to reply back to most people. I always like the conversation discussion. So go ahead and have a discussion in the comment section. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I make new videos every single Monday, and this has been really fun. So thank you guys for joining me, and mermaid kisses and starfish wishes. Feel free to click any of the videos around my face.